Welcome.
Thank you. It's good to be here on the podcast
uh,
and good to be back at Zonnehuis.
yeah, yeah. I wanted to introduce when I receive a mail of you, then in the bottom it says like Chief Psychedelic Officer in Eight Vitality, host Conscious Evolution podcast, Managing Director Make Your Mark Global, and founder the Real Self Love Movement, not the least important one. And but before we don't have too much time because you have to get your flight. But I would love to ask you, how are you?
Hmm. Well, I'm doing really well.
Mhm.
I've just spent 5 days at the Zonnehuis,
Mhm.
and wow, we had such a beautiful retreat experience.
Mhm.
It was really beautiful.
Okay, cool.
So
Can
I feel
can you?
good.
Uh,
Elaborate?
yeah, a little bit. Yes.
Yeah, well, we host sometimes two retreats here at the Zonnehuis,
Mhm.
and this one in May is all about resilience and renewal. And we have people coming from different countries to really focus on themselves, which for a lot of our clients, that's really hard. A lot of our clients are professionals who take care of other people. They run companies and have big teams. So to
Yeah.
take time to go within and focus on themselves is
Mhm.
a big deal.
Yeah.
And so it really requires us to be fully present and to invite people to just keep going in,
Mhm.
keep going in. What do you need?
Mhm.
And as you know, we work with a beautiful sound healer,
Right.
Renee Eva,
Mhm.
and she's Dutch.
Yes.
And she brings these workshops for voice liberation.
Ah, nice. Beautiful.
So people are learning to speak up.
Uh-huh.
Some are singing,
Yeah.
but it's not just about singing, it's about using your voice
Mhm.
authentically.
Mhm.
And it's so powerful
Yeah.
because then you get to watch as people unfold
Mhm.
and really tune into that real self.
Yeah.
And and so when you get to be in that space for 5 days,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
Holland was nice to us. We
Y-
had great weather
Yes, absolutely.
and had an amazing chef here.
Mhm.
So, it was such a good week.
Mm. And so now you're heading back to France.
Yes,
Yes.
I will fly home
Yeah.
today.
Yeah. Yeah. So you already mentioned it. You are here twice a year, and people come for 5 days. But it's more like you also have a period before and an integration period after.
That's right.
Yeah.
So
So.
our whole program is 10 weeks,
Mhm.
and we provide people with journal prompts and guided meditations and education about psilocybin and non-ordinary states.
Mm.
And then we meet on Zoom every week before they come.
Mhm.
So they get to know us and the
Yeah.
facilitators and get to know each other.
Yeah.
Because some people don't know these other people and they're flying,
Mhm.
to a new country.
Yeah.
And then after our 5 days, we have 4 more weeks of
Mhm.
integration.
Yeah.
And to really help people take the insights and the epiphanies
Yes.
and make it a regular part of their life going forward.
Yeah. Cool. And you already mentioned psilocybin,
Mhm.
and it's uh, so the plant medicine is a part of it, but
Correct.
you do a lot of different things around it.
That's
So
right.
sometimes for Dutch people, it's strange that people come from all over the world for plant medicine, and then because we can go to a smart shop and €10 and we go into the forest, but it's not about that. It's about much more. You're holding the space in which people can relax and face a lot of things. And
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, psilocybin truffles are not part of American culture.
Mm-hmm.
So for here, you're right. For a Dutch person, it's like
Mm-hmm.
anybody could do that if they wanted,
Yeah.
right? Because it's legal. And that's why we do these in Holland. And it is a big deal for people who didn't grow up with that
Mm-hmm.
idea
Mm-hmm.
of being able to access expanded states of consciousness, with these mycelial allies.
Mm-hmm.
But you're right, it's not just about the truffle ceremonies.
No.
We do 2 ceremonies, and we allow people to really go as deep as they want to. But it's really about the whole preparation and integration and exploration.
Yep.
Because we find that people who have been living these busy lives, they're very compartmentalized.
Mm-hmm.
They have their work self, their parenting self, and partners, and they may not really connect with their deepest self because they've had to put on masks and play these roles.
Yep.
And sometimes we play roles based out of survival,
Yep.
based on our childhood. And there comes a point when you get to be an adult, a real adult, where you start to realize, I don't want to be that person anymore.
No.
Maybe I had to as a child to survive or to stay safe or keep love.
Yeah.
But to really start to peel back these layers of who I've been programmed to be or who I was beaten into being, and then getting to that core. Yeah, that conditioning.
Yeah.
And so that's a process. Some people are familiar with that in talk therapy.
In?
Talk therapy, psychotherapy.
Mental.
Yeah, that exploration of who am I, my family of origin, and that can be very helpful. But what I've seen after 20 years of being a trauma therapist is that there are some cases where really getting down to the root of who you really are outside of trauma, it's helpful to have some of these plant allies.
Yep.
And it's an access point. It's not that it all by itself can cure you, the truffles, but it can really help the therapeutic process.
Yeah. To lift some blocks and
to see clearly.
Yeah.
It's like lifting a veil and being able to see your life, your programming, your family, but also to connect with who you really are and to feel like, wait a minute, I am lovable.
Yeah.
Everything that's happened in my life isn't all my fault. I'm not a bad person.
Yeah. No. And since you're also saying 20 years of therapeutic work, do you also see change in the work? Like before, there was also bioenergetics but also like the mental stuff, but also a lot of spirituality, like searching for the light. And nowadays, I see a lot of like breathing groups and like child inner child work and shadow work, and I think it's good progress or evolution, because I always say like in the West we are evolved like physical, mental, even spiritual, but the emotional body is often in Holland we say ondergeschoven kind, like a child which is they put it in the water. And and if you want to feel you're alive, then you have to face these old beliefs and trauma. And I think this is also what you're working with.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but also like voice expression and cool.
Because it can't just be an inside job.
No.
And like what you say, people are familiar with breath work and bioenergetics and other modalities. And we use all of them. Even in our workshops, we're accessing these different modalities because so much of who we are can be locked or blocked in the body. So we use movement, we use sound, and then, yes, liberating the voice to be able to finally say what you weren't allowed to say as a child or didn't have the power to say or didn't even have the words to say.
No.
So it's really, it's comprehensive. So for me, when I started 24 years ago, all I really knew was like talk therapy and medicine.
Mm-hmm.
And then I learned about trauma healing and things like somatic experiencing,
Mm-hmm.
getting into the body, EMDR, and then breath work to
Yeah.
get into an expanded state of consciousness without plant medicine.
Yeah.
And all of them were helpful. They help people get closer and closer. But as I said, it's not everyone that needs psilocybin
No.
truffles,
Mhm.
but there are some cases where it can be really helpful.
Yeah.
And you mentioned spirituality,
Mm-hmm.
and that is also a hot topic
Mm-hmm.
because people who have been in their head and in their career often feel very disconnected from true spirituality,
Mm-hmm.
which is not the same as religion.
No.
It's a much more personal,
Experience.
intimate
Yeah.
experience and connection
Mm-hmm.
and that. And so this work gives people a chance to explore
Mm-hmm.
what does spirituality mean to you
Mm-hmm.
outside of religion.
Yeah.
And if you are a part of a religion or you practice a faith, you can still explore what does this really mean to me.
Yeah.
And I find that that's really powerful.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I have to think back 20 years ago or longer than when I changed from ecstasy to Babaji or from here. It was, yeah, always strange that it's not in that pill, it's already inside. And so this was a complete shift. And yeah, it's also when you once feel this connection, then it's also the biggest motivation and inspiration for life, and it gets very quite easier to develop.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. So I think plant medicine also sometimes helps people to have this view, and then afterwards the work starts. Like,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It doesn't end with the ceremony.
No,
It's
no.
just the beginning.
Yes. Yeah. Cool. Cool. Nice. Yeah. So you worked as a therapist, and in daily life, what else do you do where people can find you, especially online or also in France, or everywhere in the
Yeah,
world?
mostly you can find me online. I'm doing a lot of podcasts and interviews. I do a lot of teaching videos on YouTube, and I also host monthly meetings
Mm-hmm.
on Zoom.
Cool.
So one of them is for psychedelic education and
Mhm.
harm reduction.
Mhm.
That's called Sacred Psychedelic Saturday,
Okay.
and that's totally free.
Nice.
And then once a month, I also host the Real Self-Love Movement.
Yeah.
And that's on Zoom, and it's a community of people all around the world who want to explore these principles, things that I've shared in my books and in my workshops,
Mhm.
and just to be in community.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because most of us have been wounded in relationships,
Mhm.
whether it was our family or parents or loved ones, and we can also heal in community.
Yeah.
So I lead guided meditations,
Mhm.
and it's a really beautiful way to share. So if people want to connect with me, they can join me there.
Cool. Cool. So if I put the site here, then they can find you
Yes,
through the site. They can find you
exactly.
on all canals.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm on online onedrea.com.
Cool. Wandrea. Yes.
The number one.
Yes. Cool. Thank you. Do you want to add something or to ask something? Or
Well, I want to actually just reflect my gratitude to you for opening up this space and holding it with such reverence and intentionality. When you step onto this property, we feel it. We feel like, we're safe. We can really let down our guard and go within. And I know that that's because of the energy you've brought to it. So I thank you so much for that.
Thank you very
So
much.
beautiful.
Thank you very much. It has more and more our attention because I hear often that people come because of the bedding. of the forest. Is it an English word as well? Bedding, like
Yeah,
bed,
the surroundings.
surrounding,
Yeah.
and the clay, but also that they are the only group here, not like 10 other groups.
Yes.
And and I think it's also a personal theme, like getting more borders, or like grenzen, borders, like not all over the place, which I was when I was young,
Oh, yeah.
and like having more, creating a safe space. Like you need some borders to create safe space. Well, yeah, of course there are no borders, but
Yes,
we create them.
energetically.
Yes, and also groups. It's all like children. You need some rules, and then they feel safe.
Yes.
So this is what I learned last several years, that we also need some rules and
some boundaries,
structures, and boundaries. This is what I mean with borders.
Borders, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
And see you next time.
Exactly.
Cool.
We'll be back.
Have a great trip, or bon voyage.
Merci.
Oui.
Dank u wel.
Alsjeblieft. Au revoir. Dank je wel. Cool.